Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, April 25th, I believe, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, Google has penalized another guest blogging network called PostJoint. It was fairly interesting. They no longer rank for their own name. This comes after the penalty or the penalization of my blog Guest, which was about a month ago before this. Matt Cutts somewhat confirmed on Twitter, basically responding to somebody about how Google's has penalized them, and Matt Cutts basically said any link or guest blog network that claims to have a zero footprint is waving a giant red flag. Brian White went ahead and even added more information, and PostJoint themselves actually confirmed that they were penalized, and I assume all those participating in the link network were actually penalized as well. Talking about penalties, it seems like Google is doing some type of update. Google will not confirm it. There are a lot of chatter about a lot of things going on in terms of increase in index rates, patterns you typically see before a major update. Google has not confirmed anything. It's hard to see exactly if there was an update or not, but there's definitely a lot of chatter going on. Schema.org announced Actions, a new markup that specifically describes actions that have taken place in the past as well as could take place in the future. So I asked Google, this is something that Google, Bing, Yahoo, and Yandex as well, I believe, went ahead and worked on to actually increase the markup on the pages. And Bing basically, Google would not give any comment, but Bing gave us a lot of details about how they might use it and so forth. So if you want to learn more about this new markup, this new schema called Actions, take a look at April 22nd at seroundtable.com. Talking about Knowledge Graph, is interesting because Google's Knowledge Graph actually pulled an answer from a part domain Dory page. So you say, what is guest blogging, which is pretty funny, and you see it took it from moneyonlinemarketing.com/terms. Obviously now that's no longer ranking, I don't believe. At least let me just click on it and see. This is funny to see. So now it's actually pulling it from Forbes, which is probably another guest blog post. But again, Forbes is a pretty good site. Google Keyword Planner tool got a bunch of new features. I didn't go through it in detail, but Kim, which I linked to over here, has all the screenshots. But they released the 9 new features. There's a list of the new features, but it's really, people are really happy about these new features, so you should definitely take a look at that if you use the Google Keyword Planner tool. Google AdWords announced major updates coming up in the future, where they had a search marketing experts platform, what they call the AdWords Performance Forum, where 170 different search marketers came to participate in. And they pretty much talked about different things that are going on, specifically new features rolling out in the near future, 1 around apps, 2 around estimated total conversions, and 3 around updating the AdWords console to add more bulk features and so forth. So that's useful for AdWords advertisers. Google, as you know, Google's not provided on the AdWords side, so I actually went ahead and confirmed it. I basically put an ad up, as you see over here. I put an ad up here pointing to my refer site, which actually tests SSL referrals from SSL to an SSL page. And when I clicked on it, it passed absolutely no keyword data in the refer information at all in the ad URL. So it's interesting to see that actually works, and Google has actually implemented that properly. Not properly, but in the way they handle it with not provided on the organic side. Google is dropping Zagat user ratings. So Jade Wang from Google actually announced that she basically said to show consistent reviews experience to our users, reviews that are labeled by a Zagat user are being removed from Google products. Reviews from Google users will still appear as usual, and the users can still contribute reviews. This may affect your rank ratings for some businesses, and you can see here's a picture of what it looks like to get an email, to get a review from a Zagat user. Google is now showing full reviews in Knowledge Graph, so if you do a search and there's a local result, you'll see on the right-hand side, the Knowledge Graph panel on the right-hand side show full reviews, which is more mature in things. And Google Maps now released a way to actually get historical street views. So Google Maps has been doing street views for the past, I think, 7 years or so, since 2007. And now if you see street views and you see this little, let me zoom in there a little bit, this little clock icon, if you click on it, it would show you a history of all the street views that they've done for that specific area. And you can go back and see it over the past years, and obviously Google's going to keep adding more and more to that. We did some polls because I was offline for Passover. 75% want Yahoo to return we asked people, what do you think? Do you think Yahoo should return to search? And a lot of people said yes. SEOs are mixed in terms of do they fear knowledge graph or not. So we asked you, do you fear knowledge graphs? 37% said yes, 45% no, I don't fear it, and 17% said sometimes I do fear the knowledge graph in terms of it affecting my rankings as well as impacting the number of clicks I get on my site. It was something that went on a few weeks ago about attacking Matt Cutts, and most SEOs thankfully say they don't believe it's appropriate to verbally or otherwise attack Matt Cutts. 62% said no, it's not appropriate. What if Google dropped links from their algorithm and they no longer use linkage data for ranking purposes? 35% said they'd be very excited, 32% said they'd be curious, 18% said they'd be very concerned, 6% said they'd be over, they'd be done with it, and 8% really didn't know or care. And just congratulations to Vic for the Google's VP of social, and he is moving on. He's leaving Google. He was extremely instrumental in obviously Google Plus and that whole effort, and it's amazing how far they've come, and two, on Google I/O related activities as well. So he's moving on. We don't know what he's doing. I think it would be hilarious if he went to Facebook or Twitter or something like that. I doubt it, but it'll be funny. And he wrote a whole story about why he's leaving. Why he's leaving, and what didn't say what he's going to do next. But he's one of those people at Google that was very reachable. He was a senior VP, which is high-level executive at Google, and he was extremely reachable. And you could actually talk to him and he'll talk back to you, which is interesting and something that I personally will miss at Google themselves. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. Today again is April 25th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.